You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that's suitable for all ages from to and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and this week, listeners, as you can hear, I have found yet another lovely new home for Comedy Club for Kids HQ. That's right, if you don't know so far, I had to evacuate Comedy Club for Kids HQ because it became overrun with stinky hippos. And this week, in my new temporary, although I hope actually longer than temporary accommodation, I'm in a cloud, and it is so lovely. It's kind of how you might imagine it. It's all fluffy and bouncy and everything you might hope for in a really nice home. I'm not going to lie, I am really enjoying it here, and I'm not sure why I haven't lived on a cloud before now, but I guess I'll probably stay here forever. Linda, why didn't I think about living on a cloud before, Linda? You know, I didn't actually tell Linda I was going to live on a cloud, so that might explain why she's not here. Hopefully she'll float along on a gust of breeze soon. So the only thing that does happen. That's not the only thing. Then there's that. You sometimes get interrupted by a large plane flying straight through you, but I've kind of got used to that now. But the main thing about living on a cloud is that when I open the mailbag, well, actually, you'll see what I mean as I dive into this week's mail. And there's a lot of it, because you've all been doing writings. So, this is from Doggy Lover Woof in New Zealand, who has had a question answered on the show before. And they say, hello, hi, bye. Wow, very powerful, very poetic. I'm a big fan. Same to you, Woof. Now... there you go, that's what keeps happening. That letter has just flown away, and I've got no idea where it's gone to, and just who will think that Doggy Lover Woof is saying hello to them instead. But you know what? I'm sure it's going to be fine, right? Paper flaps around in the wind sometimes. It's kind of littering. I hope no one notices, but I think it'll be alright. Next. This is from frequent writer-inner Joss the Boss, who I believe is actually my boss, but as yet she still hasn't paid me even once. I'm actually quite annoyed about it. Come on, Joss. Joss says, why don't you ask the guests about bad words you won't say on the show? It was so funny. Also, bring back blah blah now, or else I'll fill your house with stinky animals. Oh no, too late, they're coming in 5 seconds. Bye! Well, firstly, Boss Joss, you might have noticed that guests are now being asked again for the rude words they definitely won't be saying. That has now come back due to popular demand, and by that I mean about 3 people asking for it. But I hope you're pleased. I am. As for blah blah, well, you know, I forgot to pass on my new address to her, which is worrying because I did actually ask her if she could guard my new pet pebble, Cecil, for a day, but I realise I've got no idea where she went to do that.
Is this Pebble? Are you Cecil? Tiernan, I'm looking at all these pebbles on the beach, but no one says it's called Cecil. Tiernan! Whee! Oh, what is that little crab? Let me go!
You know, I guess I'll never know where blah blah has gone. And also, Joss T-Boss, you can send all the stinky animals you like to my house because I'm not there. I'm now in a cloud. And either they arrive to add to all the stinky animals that are currently in the cordoned off toxic health hazard home, or if they arrive here, this is what happens. 3, 2, 1... There you go. That letter's just gone again. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's going to be fine, isn't it? It doesn't matter that these few letters fly away in the wind. I think it'll be alright. Then we have AONLFC on Spotify who says, ha lol, smiley face. Thanks, AONLFC. What I like is that you ha-ha'd and then you upgraded to a lol. And that's a nice easy way into a bigger laugh by having a smaller laugh first to warm up, and then you cool down with a smiley face. You're clearly a professional and you've done this before. there goes another one. Anyway, if you want to send in anything to the mailbag, whether it's a joke, stinky animal threats, or a question that needs to be answered, then please do find your nearest Huffy poltroon, sorry, I mean grown-up, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. And if they'd also like to help keep this podcast going, they can sign you up to the Radio Nonsense Linda edition on Apple, patreon.com/Comedy Club for Kids, or Acast Plus. And it's basically exactly like this version of the show, but with no adverts, just like there's no Linda. Oh, and you get it one day earlier each week too. And if you go to comedyclubforkids.co.uk, you'll see when all of our upcoming shows are as well, so do check it out, and hopefully see you at one of them. Excuse me. Wait, hang on, no, I don't think that was me. I don't honk, do I? Do I honk? Odd. Anyway, while I relax on this lovely, fluffy, brilliant cloud, you have a listen to this most importantest bit.
Nobody understands the clown.
She's back on Radio Nonsense yet again. It's the #1 favourite bus stop impersonator in Luxembourg, the marvellous Ada Campe.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, baby. How are you?
I am so good now that you are here. It's so nice to see you again.
Thank you. It's lovely to see you. Happy New Year.
Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still when does it stop being a new year? Because it's...
Well, I'm starting again because January was 3 months long, which is very unusual.
Yes.
January. So I'm starting again in February because I don't count January. I count that as a whole extra year in itself, really.
That's very clever. Well, also because it was Chinese New Year on Gung Hei Fat Choi on was it the 30th of January? So
there we are.
It's a very new year in China. Or it's
so
the people
great.
that celebrate that. So if you could keep, I don't know when other New Years are. There's lots of places around the world that have different New Years, so you could possibly always have a New Year.
Yeah, let's do it. It's like I say good morning whenever I walk into a room. People go, morning, and I go, it's morning somewhere.
That's amazing. That's such a brilliant attitude to have. Yeah, you're right. So it's always a good morning somewhere. So yeah.
I did that in the pantomime. I'd walk in every day and go, morning! And they stopped saying, morning, after about 2 weeks and just joined in and went, yeah, morning! And I was like, yes, good.
That is brilliant. Does that mean... I suppose my only worry for me, as someone that I do quite like going to bed. I quite like going to bed. I know a lot of the listeners to the show will be like, what? We hate going to bed. But I like going to bed. And if it was always morning, I would never get to go to bed.
Well, you see, I'm quite a naughty grown-up, and I technically pretty much always go to bed in the morning.
Oh.
I don't mean waking up school time. I don't mean 7 a.m. But, from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. is technically the morning, and that'll be at some point in those hours I normally go to bed. So technically I always go to bed in the morning, and then wake up in the morning.
That's clever. That's very... So you could say good morning, but you could be meaning 1 a.m. in the morning, and then you could go to bed.
I'm just a capricious imp. I'll say whatever I like at whatever time.
That is what people
Until
say,
the good morning police come and knock on my door, I shall keep doing it.
Wow. Do you know what, though? I would assume the good morning police are very nice. They'd at least greet you very nicely, wouldn't they? They'd come in, they'd be like, morning, morning. And you'd be like, well, okay, I can't be that worried about you.
Yeah. Or I just go, good evening. And they go, I think you'll find it's morning. I go, it's evening somewhere.
And then they'd have to leave.
They'd have to go and get the good evening police to come.
And then when they come, you can switch up and say it's the morning. I mean, you're always one step ahead of these.
Good afternoon.
Specific police, yeah.
Exactly. And then when I've exhausted the main ones, I can go into dusk. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah.
Dusk. These are advanced levels of. I've never wished anyone a good dusk.
Well, I know this is Radio Nonsense and a podcast for children, but children are very sophisticated. They know there are different times of day, presumably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's one of those things more like, because you wish people a good morning because they've got the day ahead of them. You wish them a good evening, and I suppose a good night so they might sleep.
Good night, yeah.
But is it a good... I don't know, would you wish someone a good dusk? What would you be hoping for them to do at dusk?
What about good dusk? Happy dusk?
Happy dusk, that's nicer, yes. Yeah.
Or a mysterious dusk?
Oh, that's unsettling. I don't know if
Do you think so? I didn't say creepy or spooky. Not a spooky dusk. Mysterious dusk.
Mysterious dusk.
When there's a shape by the bins and you can't work out whether it's a bag or some poo. That's a mysterious dusk
Oh, I
because the light's
see.
low.
I see. Yes, yes. That's a very. I like that. So it's more that you might have to be a detective about, particularly about potential bags of poo. But
Yeah.
rather than there's like a mysterious creepy ghoul, or or like
Yeah, no, I didn't go there. I
right.
didn't
That's
go to
what I was thinking. Ghoul. I automatically went to ghoul. Ghoul morning. Ghoul dusk. That's maybe that's my bad. You're right.
No, it's not your bad. You know what I mean? It's a dark way of doing it. No, you need to find a dusky way of doing it, not a dark.
I need to find a
dark.
I need to find a dusky. Yeah, yeah. Why is it? Well, you've got quite. Would you say you've got a dusky voice?
Dusky.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never thought about dusky. Often people say gravelly. That happens.
Gravelly, yes, maybe
Or-
more gravelly. I was trying to think what you
Gravelly.
would use the term because
Unexpected. That one comes up sometimes as well.
unexpected. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's true. That's true. Not mysterious. Not mysterious. That's a different. Yeah. I wonder. Dusky's often used for certain descriptions. Like the only thing I can think of actually that's definitely a dusky something is one of my favourite animals in the world, which is a dusky monkey. Do you know a dusky
Is
monkey?
that a thing? Oh
Yeah.
no, I don't know what that is.
They're just wonderful looking. They're very furry little monkeys with big sort of eyes, and they've got little white faces, but like huge sort of black manes of hair around it, and they
very
always look
cool.
slightly startled.
What
And
noise do they make?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. I hope
Then if my voice was like them, we'd know.
Then
I had a
you'd
dusky
know.
voice.
If
What?
they-
For example.
I think there would be nothing more enjoyable than seeing a small, sort of crazy-haired little monkey suddenly come out with your voice. I think that would throw me. I'd be so overjoyed.
I'd like it if it made a mysterious noise, like if it went, ooh.
Oh yes, that would be good. A dusky, yeah. Maybe that is how they sound. Actually, maybe
love
we're
that.
not
If it does-
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe we're not sure how they sound because it's always so mysterious. We can't be
Yeah.
sure that that's what their noise is.
They're constantly in a state of intrigue.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Is it poo? Is it a bag of shopping?
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. That's the question they regularly ask while out in the wild, I think.
And you know what? I'm not going to look that up on the internet now because I want to imagine that a dusky monkey says, ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But you should look up a picture of them because I think they're one of the best creatures.
All right, I consent to that. I will look up a picture.
Thank you. Yes, don't
Of a
don't
dusky
listen.
monkey.
Don't listen to the picture.
No. It would be quite fun if you were in the woods. I don't know, where do they live, the dusky monkeys?
In jungles, in sort of
okay.
forests and jungles. I think they're in hot countries in like Southeast Asia and stuff.
Oh, so maybe they say ooh for intrigue and ooh, ooh, ooh if it's very hot.
Yes, yeah, probably, yeah. I think that's yeah.
Because the last thing you want to be wearing in a hot jungle is fur.
Yes, that's true. And then if they're impressed, they're like, ooh.
I like that. I'm a fan of this conversation.
Yes, yeah. I think it's funny, isn't it? Because people often say, there was that gorilla that they taught sign language to. Do you remember that? And so the gorilla could
Coco.
communicate with them. Was that the gorilla's name? Coco.
That's one of them, yeah.
Right, and so that was like, and I think that it's happened with a couple of other apes, not monkeys, apes. And
Stop saying monkey.
I'm so sorry. I know it's terribly monkeyist of me to say that
You
an
can
ape
say
is a monkey.
primates.
Oh yeah, does that count for all of them?
That's bishops and apes.
Bishops and
A subsection.
right. I see. How did bishops end up in there?
I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to speculate.
No, me either. No, so it's bishops.
They've got very long forearms. That's why they wear those massive dresses.
Right. That explains. Right. Sure. That makes sense.
I assume that's it.
Yes. So bishops and apes, and that's all primates. But what about monkeys then? Where are monkeys?
In hot jungles going, ooh.
Yeah, but they're not. But is that the category? Is hot jungle a category? And that's got monkeys and.
I don't know. Could you wish somebody a happy hot jungle? Happy hot jungle. Yeah, it's a category.
Yeah, monkeys and DJs probably in there.
Monkeys, DJs. Yeah. What else? Juicy fruit. Chewing gum.
Yes, I think that's probably all in the same category. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the
Yeah.
world is a fascinating place.
It is. I find it very hard. I was going to say that with the ape with the sign language, and they were like, oh, this now we can communicate with apes. But actually, now I think the way you've been discussing it, they've been talking to us all along, very obviously, with just different oohs.
One of the things I remember reading about that is anyone they've taught, and this might be just a generalization, and in fact it is, but one of the things I've read is that when they've taught sign language to primates, in this case the ape variety, not the bishop variety, although I'm sure there are bishops who are hard of hearing or audio impaired, that the apes have not asked the humans any questions. They receive information about what things are, and they've indicated things like food or water or, I don't know, Xbox or something, but they've not asked a human a question because they're not interested. I think that's quite interesting, that presumably the humans have longed for communication back, and the apes have just asked for basic needs and then just moved on.
I mean, why would they be interested? What could we possibly do that's of any interest to an ape?
Yeah.
You know?
I know, exactly.
They're like, we can swing from trees all day, we can eat loads of fruit, we can sit on a tyre and do a poo. Why would we care about any of the things you do? They all look really boring. We don't want to sit in traffic. Like,
I just think it's interesting.
A gorilla doesn't want to sit in traffic, do you know? It doesn't want to...
No, it doesn't. Gorilla doesn't want to know about your day.
No, it doesn't care.
Or your dusk, for example.
Yeah. Well, I always think, like, a lot of animals, if they were able to understand, like, oh, what did you do today? Oh, it was a hard day at the office and had to do this filing. And they'd be like, why? Why don't you just sit in a tree and do a poo? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, eat some fruit.
Yeah.
No one cares.
No one cares. What's the point of anything you're doing? It's stupid. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I get that.
That's a philosophy to start the year with.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think that's... It's what I think a lot of people are doing wrong. They're not that we should all be more ape. Is that the right?
Yeah, less bishop, more ape.
Less bishop, more ape. That's a brand. I'd like that on a t-shirt.
I'm sure we can make that happen.
Yeah, I think that's
At vast expense.
Yes, I don't want to upset any bishops, and I do wonder if, well, for a start, it would change chess. That would be complicated, but then also, I would hope that bishops would, when delivering big sermons, I would hope that they would then just throw fruit into the crowd and then do a poo.
Yeah, I went to a church once that gave away donuts and sweeties. Can I name a brand of sweetie on here?
I mean, I think so. I don't know what would stop. What would stop?
You know celebrations. Celebrations.
Yes.
The tins of oil.
Yes, I do know those celebrations.
Yeah, they used to give away celebrations. They said, it's a celebration. And then give away a load of sugar to keep everybody awake.
That's nice. I like that. And I think it's a nice thing to do. I suppose for me, one of my issues I've had with celebrations, and in fact some of those chocolate names, is they're quite a small celebration. Like, woo, we're having a celebration. Tiny little galaxy chocolate. And I think, oh, that's not... No, I want a big chocolate. If I'm celebrating, I need something 7 times the size of this.
Surely it's all a matter of perspective.
Yeah, and I suppose it depends on how many you eat. Like, you could eat a whole box of celebrations.
Well, I don't know. If I ate a whole box of celebrations, it would be a celebration of sorts.
Yes, that's true.
For a while.
Yeah, for a while, until you felt really sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But then there's another one called Heroes, and I sort of think, I like all the chocolates in this, but I don't know if they've, like, saved anyone from a burning building.
Yeah, but that's a very, it's a very narrow definition.
Of heroes, yeah.
Maybe it makes the eater heroic.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe by eating one, you might then save someone from a burning building.
Yeah, I'll keep eating them in that case.
Yeah, if I eat loads of chocolate, I will definitely be energetic enough.
Yeah,
and healthy enough to save people
I should inform my doctor that that's why I'm eating so much chocolate.
Yeah, well, because. If you think about the other one, like Quality Street, I imagine all those sweets living on a street together.
That was from a play, That was the name of a play.
Was it?
Yeah, that came from a play.
Wow.
A late Victorian, early Edwardian play, yeah. That's why they have that sort of rather old-fashioned picture on the front of them, because it's referring to a play.
Wow, and the play was about the sweets that lived on a road together?
I don't know about that. I've not read the play, but I do know it's from a play.
Wow.
Quality Street.
I want to know if there were different characters for every flavour of... Was one of
I
them a
hope
big
so.
triangle, a big purple triangle?
It should be. It should be a revival.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was a green triangle, wasn't it? And a purple. Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that's changed my mind about that. I also, do you know what? I have to say, Ada, that one of the many delights of having you on this, not only have you're still saying it's Happy New Year, but we're now discussing Christmas sweets.
Yes. Well, it's a podcast. People can listen to it any time of the year.
That's true.
They're not beholden to listen
Yeah.
to it in the moment when it is released.
Yeah.
You can put it on again. Happy Halloween. Happy other months, July, for example.
Yeah, that's true. So there's no, and really also there's no bad time to eat a sweet that makes you a hero.
No bad time.
No.
Is there? Well, maybe when you're rescuing someone from a burning building, you shouldn't stop to eat a sweet because the chocolate will melt. But apart from that time,
That's a good point.
fine.
Yeah. That's a really good point, actually. Do you know, it's funny because there's a lot of information about fire safety and they never bring that up.
Yeah, that's big fire. They don't want you munching all the sweets.
Yeah. I can't believe that, actually. That needs to be... Someone needs to bring that in, actually, and just say,
Yeah.
like, when you hear the fire alarm go, obviously form a line and go out of this exit, but whatever you do, don't eat a chocolate because it will melt and that'll be a waste. If you're going to have a hard-boiled sweet instead.
Yeah, I bet you the front of fire engine is just full of sweetie wrappers.
Yeah, yeah, almost certainly. Almost certainly. Well, their firefighters are heroes, so how else do they...
You have to eat.
Yeah.
You see, you have to eat. They travel on the road a lot. And now my car, which I drive, is full of sweetie wrappers and bits of crisp that
Yes,
just fall
yes.
from my face during long drives home.
Yeah.
The inside of my car is debris. You know what I mean? It looks like a clown has attempted to perform a ploughman's lunch in there and then run away. So I imagine a fire engine is full of, sweeties and wrappers and crisps and satsuma peels and, bits and bobs, pork pie wrappers and all that jazz. And
Yes.
I'm sure they cleaned it up for visiting days, but I imagine the rest of the time it's carnage. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't want fire people to get sad with me.
They wouldn't be sad. I think they probably, that we are saying they are heroes, and we're just trying to work out how you get to be as heroic. And I would say you're a hero. You're a hero, Ada. I definitely think, it makes sense that you've got similar levels of debris in your car as a fire engine would have. One thing I should say is that for listeners to this show that aren't from the UK and are from somewhere else in the world or the universe or the deep sea, a ploughman's lunch is exactly the food a ploughman has to eat.
By
Isn't
law.
by law. I think I just thought I'd explain it. It's a lump of cheese and an apple, and then I can't remember what it is. It's like a knock on the door and a
Bit of celery.
and some dungarees or something. Yeah, it's it's got a very specific
Yeah.
bit of there's always a bit of celery.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a chunk of bread, but it can't be a chunk you could easily eat. It has to be
No.
a bit that's really difficult to eat.
A chunk of ancient bread full of ancient grains.
Yeah. That's right. That you
That
could
you
throw,
really have to chew on.
yeah, that you could use to open a door with, or to throw at a flock of birds or something. Yeah, it's quite.
I think, the idea is not that it fills you up, but it exhausts your jaw by chewing it.
Yeah. And then you're ready to go out and plough. Like, we're talking about firefighters having hero sweets to be heroes, but this is, if you're going to be a ploughing person,
Yeah,
you have to have a ploughman's lunch.
you have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a ploughwoman's lunch? Is it just
I don't
ploughman's
know.
lunch? Yeah.
Yeah, as a confirmed feminist. I don't know, soup? If I was a ploughwoman, I'd love a bit of chicken and barley soup or something.
Yeah. Well, I dare say then you wouldn't be so tired from eating soup. You'd probably be better to go and plough than a ploughman who's just eaten the biggest lump of bread anyone's ever seen.
Yeah, it would help to soften the bread, certainly, if you could dip it in soup.
Yes. Well, they just need a plough everyone's lunch that has a bit of soup, and then the bread goes with the... Someone needs to update the ploughman's lunch.
What if you're gluten-free?
Oh, this is a whole world of... And I mean, also, yeah, I feel like everyone should be able to plough, regardless of their dietary needs.
Yeah, it's not fair
It's not fair.
that you should have to have cheese.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily have to eat it. A ploughman's lunch could just be a concept, a bit of art or something, or you could give it to a chum, or you could see someone on the street who wanted a bit of food and you go, here, here's my lunch. It's more, it's a job title thing.
Oh,
It's like
I
having
see.
steel-toed boots and all that jazz. No, that's safety. We've gone off piste here.
Yes, we have, and you know, and I do, you know, I'm so pleased you come back. I do have a question that I do need you to answer that has been sent in, and before that, as is tradition on this show, I've got 2 bits of admin, and one of them is actually an old bit of admin that's come back due to popular demand. Yes, and by that I mean 3 people have said that they would like it to come back, so I've brought it back.
I think that counts as popular.
Yeah, so the first admin question, which I feel like you've done this before, and I hope you're okay to return to this.
Let's try.
Question. But this is obviously a family show, as shown by all the topics we've discussed so far, and it's suitable for all people of all possible ages that you can possibly imagine, from minus 30 degrees all the way to 700 years old. And so I just wondered if there is a rude word that you won't be saying during the show to keep it safe. That was an amazing noise.
Thank you. I think today I shan't be saying the word, like, jammy.
Oh. Okay. I mean, I can see why. Are you meaning it in that? I should say, do you mean jammy as in like when something is filled with jam, or when somebody is very lucky?
I meant jammy, actually, as in on toast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not jammy donut. Those are delicious and should never be censored. But
Yes,
I was very specifically thinking of raspberry jam on top of toast.
Okay.
I'm not saying any of that.
I'm very pleased you're not saying any of that. I would agree that there are a number of issues with that, particularly were you to drop said piece of toast, then it will automatically go jam side down and cause all levels of upset.
Yeah. Well, unless you put it on the back of a cat.
Hey,
but that's another discussion. Yeah.
That's a whole other. That's extra science that we haven't. I don't know if we've got the qualifications to discuss that.
Extra science.
It's extra. It's extra science. A bonus science. Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. Are you upset by the raspberries? Is the raspberry an issue?
No. I very much like raspberry jam. I just the sort of the naked, fleshy, pink shininess of it, to me, in the moment, feels inappropriate.
Yes, I can. That makes sense to me. It does look a bit like if a whole person was squished, like quite suddenly, and they would just like say if gravity went super powerful, and a human being just went, then I reckon they'd look like raspberry jam.
I do think the line between condiment and ectoplasm isn't discussed enough.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. You're right, actually. Why aren't there more people? Why don't the Ghostbusters ever take on a jam factory?
Scared.
Yeah, really scared. They're terrified.
They're chickens.
They are chickens. They are chickens. That's something, again, there's a longer discussion, but it's been brought up many times before. But if they ain't afraid of no ghost, that means they are afraid of some ghosts.
Yeah, it's a double negative.
And jams. And they're afraid of jams.
Sweet ectoplasm is a whole other world, baby.
Whole other world. Wow. Well, yeah. And that's also why they weren't called Jam Busters. It's, and for the American listeners, we mean jam as in jelly, not jelly as in jam, or jam as in jam, or jelly as in jelly. I can't remember how it works.
Yeah, I can't remember either. What do they call what we call jelly? Oh, Jello, they call that.
They call jelly Jello, which is like saying hello if you're a jelly. Yeah.
Jello. And we call jelly jam. And no, wait.
No, we call jam, and they call jam jelly.
Yes.
Which is not.
And we call jelly, and they call jello.
Yes. Yeah, but jelly is definitely wobbly like a jelly. Whereas jam is jammy, right? Which is the word
like
I'm not
jam.
not going to be saying, but it is.
What if there's a sort of Latin declension of the word jelly? Jello, gelas, gelat, gelatus, gelant, gelatine. Yeah, there must be. I remember that. Did you have to do that at school? I had to do that at school. Recite Latin verbs.
Oh no, they had none of that at my school. Yeah, absolutely.
A massa mat, a mars, a mant. Yeah, we have to recite Latin verbs. My teacher was called Mrs. King, and she would come in every day and say "Salvete puellae," which means "Hello, girls," and we would have to say "Salve magistra rex," which means "Hello, teacher King."
Wow, That
Now,
sounds
the
so
things one
important.
retains.
Yeah.
Can I remember my PIN number? No. Can I remember my Latin declension? Yes.
I'm very impressed. We didn't have that at all at my school. We just had French and German, and our French teacher was called Madame Law, and she terrified everyone. And so nobody learned French. And that's what happened. We all learned German. Yeah.
I had a French teacher called Miss French, which was seemed a bit on the nose. Yeah.
Well, that's when you don't have a choice. If that's your name, that's what you have to teach, right?
Well, surely you'd change it to Francais if you were a French
That's
teacher.
also true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very fair. We had a Mr. Ball who taught PE. I thought that was quite good. Yeah,
that's very nice.
Yeah, I feel like it's called nominative determinism, is it? Where you've got a name, and that's like, well, that's your job now.
That's true, actually, because my name's Ada Campe, and I am.
Yeah, that's true. And also, you've got tents, and you're always living in the woodlands, aren't you?
I've seen people go camping.
Yes, so there you go. That counts. It's basically the same.
I've driven past them in my nice warm car full of crisps on my way to a cosy hotel, and I've gone, look at the people camping. Good for you.
That's good. Whereas I'm a Tiernan. Do yeb? Do I yeb? I don't know if I do yeb actually. Maybe I
bet
do.
You do.
Yeah, maybe.
I bet you do, baby.
I probably do. Yeah. That's fair. You're right. It's how it works, isn't it, with names? Yeah.
I've been in a camper van. I went to Glastonbury in a camper van.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, this is it. You're just adding to the long list of why you've got your name.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm very pleased you won't be saying raspberry jam on toast, or indeed jammy at all, and I wouldn't dare say any of those things on this show. So
thank you for your support and encouragement.
Thank you very much for yours. Listen, well, that was that one out of the way. The other one I have to ask. I think this is more complicated. It always is. It's the second one, but Ada, would you rather an entire family of stoats lived in your hair, or you had a large shell on your back like a tortoise / turtle? You can choose if it's a tortoise or a turtle.
Oh no! That's tricky because I sleep on my side, so technically I could accommodate a shell. And when I did pantomime a couple of years ago, I played Queen Rat, and there was a rat in my hair, not a real one, but and we were chums, and I made it a little Christmas hat, which was very charming.
Nice.
I do think stoats are rather fun, and it would be quite jolly to have them in your. You'd never be stuck for a conversation opener.
No.
If you had stoats in your hair.
True, very true.
There would never be an awkward pause at a party unless somebody hated stoats. But even that wouldn't be awkward. They just come out. I don't think anyone feels neutral about stoats. You either like them or you dislike them.
That's true, yeah.
The shell is tempting, however. I think I'll go for the stoats in this scenario.
Okay.
Because my arms, I'm not a primate, bishop or ape. My arms are therefore not long enough to be able to perform percussive excitements on the back of a shell.
Yes.
So I feel it'd be somewhat wasted.
Oh, yeah. But you could do the breakdancing move of spinning on your back really easily.
But I mean, how many times can one do that?
I mean, I would do it all the time, but I see what you mean.
That's why there are many different people in the world.
Sure. Yeah.
And the stoats and I would applaud you vigorously while you were doing it.
Can I ask about the stoats? And indeed, when you had a rat in your hair, was it like the film Ratatouille? Did they control you and all of your actions? And were the stoats still the same? No.
But I wouldn't have turned that down if that had been a costume option.
Yeah. You'd have cooked some lovely meals if that had been the case.
Oh, I mean, tremendous.
Yeah.
Stuff I wouldn't even bother to do.
No, exactly. It's a really great way to. They talk about all these sort of Hello Fresh meal things where they send you all the ingredients, but actually just get a rat in your hair that controls you. And then
Cut to the chase.
Yeah, you cook much better food. But would you not be worried if you had a family of stoats, they'd all control you? They'd all try and control you different ways at once. Maybe it's not a problem.
I don't know. I mean, they're in my hair, but presumably they can leave my hair and get on with their lives.
Oh, sure. Yes, that's true.
I mean, having them control me seems rather sad. I'd rather we were chums, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and also it says lived in your hair, so you're right. They probably would just sleep there and wake up there, but they'd probably go to their day jobs in between.
I'm fine with that.
And yeah.
I'm fine with that. I mean, we can negotiate, times where I have to brush my hair. For example, if I'm doing a show, I'd make sure we have almost a timeshare hair scenario.
Nice.
But no, I think it'd be lovely to sleep with a little stoat family on my head. I'd
That's
like that
nice.
very much.
I
As
like
long as they
that.
didn't snore.
Oh, that's a good point. Actually, I don't know what.
But there'd be
stoats-
tiny stoaty snores.
It would
That
be
might be quite
adorable. It
cute.
would be lovely. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And with a family estate, you might have proper little baby ones, which would be like, oh, they're fluffy and
So cute. And it makes me think of, His Dark Materials with Lyra. And what, her demon is sometimes a stoat or is this, that sort of esque thing.
yes,
And
yeah.
I've seen that on the television and it looked very cute and friendly. So I'm going to say yes, stoat, please.
That is lovely. And I should also say, for the record, I never really know the difference between a stoat and a weasel. I think I know an otter, but sometimes it's hard.
Otters in water and the other two, it's just spelling.
Right, sure. That's it. And it's each to their own, isn't it? So,
If it's wet, it's an otter.
Right, I got it. Okay, that's a very useful tip. Thank you. These are such good nature facts today. I mean, I now know about in the wild whether it's a bishop or an ape, and whether it's an otter or a stoat/weasel. Or this is fantastic. Well, listen, thank you, Ada. Thank you for answering the very necessary admin questions. You did that very succinctly. Actually, it was impressive. So we've got this question.
Yes.
And it has come in from Thomas. That's all we know about Thomas. It's just
Hi,
Thomas.
Hi.
Yeah, no other details about Thomas. We just know he's Thomas. Don't know how old he is, where he's from. It's just, I think he's a bit like when you get those pop stars with just one name, like Beyonce or Cher.
Yeah. Or seal.
Seal. Yes, yes, absolutely. Who we know is a seal and not a stoat. No, hang on, no, that's... Anyway, so Thomas, it's just Thomas. Obviously very famous.
Yeah.
And Thomas asks, I'm going to read this in one go, and I'll try and intonate it as it says, fart. What is at the end of a rainbow? So now I should say that fart is just the opening. It's fart, and then it's a full stop. And then it's...
So it's an instruction and then a question.
Yes, I don't know if you have to fart before you answer the question, or if it is part of the question. Yeah, or if it's almost like a salute, like he's sort of... Like, instead of saying hello or like you with your good mornings, he's just fart. Maybe that's
maybe that's his greeting.
Yeah, it could be. But I leave it's up however you want to interpret.
Maybe he was cursed by a bishop to start all sentences with the word fart. Fart, table for two, please. Fart, one double espresso to go.
Yes, fart double espresso. I think as an adult that would be funny. Obviously, it might be awkward at times if you have a really posh job or something. But
I might try it.
yeah, you should try it and see if people notice it. But I feel like as a kid, you'd get in trouble every time that you had to answer the register. They'd be like, Thomas, and he'd have to go,
no.
Farts, yes, miss, or whatever. Like, then he'd always get in trouble because of this curse.
Maybe it's instead of calling his father or daddy or popsy or papa, maybe he calls him fart.
Oh, maybe he's like fart. Well, in German, it's Vater, isn't it? Vater, mein Vater.
There you go. It's a diminutive.
So, but then that means he's asking this question to his dad instead of to us.
Oh gosh, so what question has he asked to his dad that was meant for us?
Well, he's asked what's at the end of the rainbow, but because he said...
No, but if the questions come to us, and what about the question
Oh,
for
I
us?
see.
He's presumably asked his father.
Oh, gosh, so he could have been asking his father about, like, why chickens play banjos or anything that probably shouldn't be asked, that should be directed to us rather than any sort of...
Yeah.
So that's awkward.
Oh dear, this is tricky now.
It is tricky.
Because we have to step into the role of the parent.
Yes, we've probably got to answer it very seriously, but also in that kind of, oh, I'm so tired, please stop asking me questions kind of way.
Very that. And I also, I've jumped into a traditionalist mindset now. I feel I should be wearing +4s and a cravat and smoking a pipe. In fact, I'd quite like to do that.
Yes, I think you should. I think you should answer this as though you are doing that.
I will. And spats. I love spats. I don't think young people know what spats are.
No.
But I think they're delightful.
Yes.
Spats are great, kids. Spats are like little, they were little sort of shoe covers people used to wear back in the day. I don't know why. Presumably because they were walking around in poo and muddy streets and all that jazz. But they're great. They cover your laces on your shoes. And they're little sort of shoe hats, if you will, that go around your ankle and tie under your shoe. And I'm imagining right now I'm wearing them, and they are shiny blue colour.
That's lovely. Spats are very cool, aren't they? I mean, I always think hats for everything. More things should have hats. Why wouldn't you have hats for shoes? Like, that's a lovely idea.
There used to be so many ways to cover your legs that I feel we've lost. There were puttees, that's war, gaiters, spats. Yeah, many different ways of covering your lower legs
Wow.
that have been lost to society. What we've gained is the internet. What we've lost is the ability to cover our shins in interesting ways.
Do you think back in the day, and I'm just supposing this based on no information at all, were there more things that might bite at your lower legs? Like, were there more creatures and goblins and things?
Well, I don't know. People were shorter in the past.
Yeah.
I've been on the HMS Victory, and the sailors were tiny.
Yes.
So maybe sailors would munch your calves if you weren't stood still too long.
So you had to cover your legs to protect from nibbling sailors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, presumably, it can only be that.
Yes.
That's all I'm thinking.
I think you're right. No, that's very sensible. Well, I mean, yes. Pretend you have got your spats. I also think maybe if you could pretend you're reading a newspaper and not actually looking at the child that's asking the question. You're not
Yes,
looking at Thomas.
hang
You're
on.
just reading a newspaper. And
Let me get into the zone.
Yeah.
Which newspaper is it?
oh, it'll be an old one, won't it? It'll be like the I don't know the.
So the pages are very thin and the writing is quite small.
Yes, like the Rotherham Advertiser or something. It'll be something like
Yeah.
that. I don't. Yeah.
The Rotherham Advertiser.
Yeah.
I am reading. And my blue spatted feet are. Can I have a footstool in this
Of
for
course
this
you
scenario?
can. Yes, I think that's necessary.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
My feet are on a footstool. I am reading the Rotherham Advertiser. Is there a gramophone? Is there a gramophone playing?
I think there probably would be, and it would be. What would it be? Would it be classical or would it be some sort of jazz?
I'm feeling it might be jazz.
I think it might be jazz. Yeah, I think
Slow jazz.
Slow jazz.
And are there bonbons available? In case I need to save someone from an elderly fire in Rotherham.
There are, but they're those little wrapped mints. I think they have to be,
Wrapped
They
mints.
have to be little mints individually wrapped. Yes.
All right, I'm up for that.
Okay.
I don't mind that at all.
Okay.
All right. Let me just get into the zone.
Sure. And then shall I ask you the question as?
Hang on, I'm still
Sorry,
getting into the
sorry,
zone. I love this jazz. What's happening in Rotherham? What is that? Do I fancy a mint? I'll have one in a mo. Okay, I'm there. Go for it. Go for
Wow.
it, baby.
Okay. Fart. What is at the
Yes, dear. Yes, Thomas.
What is at the end of? Actually, I don't know how Thomas talks. What is at the end of a rainbow?
It's Thomas, an elderly woman from a
Oh, yeah,
Cockney
that's
film.
it. I was going for more for like a tiny Victorian orphan. But yes, you're right.
That's very
Yes.
strange.
It's a very.
Let's go again.
Okay, sorry.
I'll say yes, Thomas, after you've said fast.
And I'll go
to
for
do
a-
the play. We're doing a play properly now.
Yes, okay. I'll do a different
Go.
voice. Yeah.
Jazz, yeah, mints, yeah. Blue spats, lovely work. Reading. Action.
Fart.
Yes, Thomas.
What is at the end of a rainbow?
Go upstairs and do your homework. Don't call me fart.
Wow. Well, that's that question answered. I think. Thanks, Thomas. Yeah.
I feel that character wouldn't indulge.
Yeah,
such
I think
whimsy.
you're right. I think that's the problem. You did that perfectly. You played that exactly right. I think the issue.
It's all instinct, darling. I've never done that before.
It was. I mean, you're such a natural. That's the thing. My worry is that I don't know if that's what Thomas wanted from us when he sent in. I mean, obviously he's asked us the question he needs to ask his farter anyway. But my worry is.
We could try it again, and it'll be, instead of me playing the father character, it'll be me, Ada, wearing blue spats, listening to jazz, with mints by the side, reading an elderly newspaper. To be honest, none of that is implausible in my life.
Sure.
So I'll do it as me now, and not as the father.
Okay, but all right.
Oh, try again.
I'll still be
jazz.
Thomas for the sake of this piece. Okay.
For the play.
Right, yeah.
Thomas, jazz, mints, Rotherham, blue spats.
Fart. Well done. What is at the end of a rainbow?
Power tools.
Wow. Yeah, wow. That's amazing. But also, do you know what? And I don't know how you felt then, Ada. You were so in the mode that I feel like you almost conjured up what is it? Whether or not we know it now as just being ourselves out of character. I feel like it came to you through some sort of divine acting powers.
Well, I am a conjurer. I am in the magic circle.
Yes, yes.
Sort of thing does come to me.
Well, I think that's it. You drew on some sort of rainbow skills there, and it's very hard to reach the end of a rainbow. Many people would find it hard to know what was there, but it's like you were given that message.
I asked the universe, and the universe said, power tools.
Yeah. Wow. And I wonder if that's why sometimes if you're ever having work done on where you live, perhaps, or you see like a building site or whatever, sometimes the people working on it are like, oh, I've got to go get some extra bits and pieces, and then they're gone for days and months, so they don't come back.
Chasing
they're chasing rainbows.
I love that scenario. That's much better than they've just gone away with your money, is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Or just got lost in B&Q, which is a terrible scenario.
Awful.
I'd rather they were chasing rainbows.
Yeah, no, I think they are forever trying to get the power tools at the end of the rainbow.
I met someone from the Midlands, and they said that a rainbow that emerges in the rain and the sun is called a monkey's wedding. That's what they called it.
It's called a monkey's wedding?
A monkey's wedding was a rainbow that appeared when it was actually raining in the sun. I'm pretty sure it was that.
That's lovely.
I was in the Midlands at the time, in the Stafford area. But that brings us back to monkeys.
Yeah, can I ask what ooh do you...
Yeah, of course you can.
Well, yes. Fart. I wondered what noise monkeys would make at a wedding. Ooh, it'd be like a joyous ooh, wouldn't it?
They'd be great at throwing stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
They'd get right up in the trees and bung all the confetti on your head.
Yeah, I'd worry it wouldn't be confetti though. That's what I'd worry about. And I think
throw peanuts.
Yes.
Woo-hoo!
Yes, or just poo. Just poo probably.
And then you couldn't even chase them.
No.
They'd be off. I met a man once who used to release doves at weddings as a side job. Imagine that.
That's an amazing. And I'd worry
that wasn't his main hustle.
I mean, I'd also worry that they would poo everywhere. I think it's
doves.
Yeah.
I think he'd put tiny corks up their bums.
Oh, sure. So they're professional doves. Yeah, that's...
Yeah. But maybe there's a monkey releaser as well that would release monkeys for weddings.
Well, you said that doves thing was his side hustle. I wonder if his main hustle was releasing monkeys at weddings.
I never asked. I was so engaged by the dove thing, I didn't even ask about a main hustle. Or maybe they're not, rainbow monkeys. Anyway, I offer that as another nature fact for you and the listeners.
Thank you so very much. Well, listen, I don't know if Thomas could get a more definitive or powerful answer than power tools, or indeed the knowledge that there's the monkey's wedding happening at the same time. I mean, that's possibly at the other end. If power tools at one end, the other end might be two monkeys getting married
in the Midlands.
Yeah, which is lovely. So. Wow. Well, thank you, Ada. I'm so pleased you come on the show, but I knew that when I asked you, we'd get some incredible insights into life, the universe, and everything. And I don't think we could ask for more, really. So thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for asking. Otherwise, this stuff would just career around my brain all afternoon. And that is a worrying scenario for anybody. Yes. So at least it's out there, technically out there.
Well, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased it could be released on Radio Nonsense. And let me, what have you got coming up in the next 5, possibly 7 minutes? Anything exciting?
I'm going to finish my cup of nettle tea. I think I'm going to leave my imaginary blue spats on.
Yep.
For the rest of the day, I think. And then tonight I'm going out. I've got a gig. So I've got to get ready slowly.
And can I ask, will you turn up at the gig tonight with a good morning for everyone?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll probably just say morning.
Nice.
But I intend to wear, and this is just a secret now between us and the listeners, I intend to wear my imaginary blue spats for the rest of the day.
Excellent.
And evening, I shall do the gig in imaginary blue spats, and no one will know apart from us. Isn't that fun?
I am delighted for you. That's fantastic. What a way to spend the rest of your endless morning. Thank you so much, Ada, and thank you so much for coming on the show once again. And we'll see you soon.
Pleasure, treasure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much to Ada Campe for having time to answer Thomas's important question and, of course, tell us about monkey weddings. Thomas, I do hope you liked your answer, but if not, why not send any complaints you have to the end of a rainbow, and then it'll get destroyed by power tools, and I'll never have to read it. Thanks. If you have a question that you need to have answered, or you want to send in anything else at all, then please get your huffy poltroons, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. Do also get them to sign you up to the advert-free Linda edition for a very small monthly fee, and check out comedyclubforkids.co.uk to see when we are near you. Right, let's do another letter then, as there are so many. The Big Cheese in the UK sent this in, so I'm guessing that's like a large cheddar maybe? I'm trying to think what the biggest cheese in the UK would be. How big would that cheddar have to be? It'd be probably quite large. Anyway, they say, I like poo-poo blah blah. Hi, I love this. Linda is working at Tesco. Stinky Hippo campuses are awesome. I would like to clean their poo. The Queen of Cheese approves this podcast. Wow, the Queen of Cheese. I am honoured. I mean, that means this show is definitely Gouda. The only thing is, Your Majesty, I don't know if Linda is working at Tesco. Which one? What branch? What's she doing there? Is she on shelves or clean up or working on the tills? I also don't know if you would want to clean Stinky Hippo poo. It's the worst smell you could imagine, and also the worst smell you couldn't imagine. It's that bad. But I have let the scientists cleaning Comedy Club for Kids HQ know, and they said, come along when you like with a nose peg and a big spade. Oh, and there goes another one. Oh, what is that? There's more honk noises. Something's coming closer.
Honk, 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 honk. Stop firing paper at us. One bit hit Clive Goose in the face and he went off course and accidentally flew to the North Pole instead of Trinidad. He's freezing now. You are a menace. Honk, honk.
Oh, crikey. Sorry, I guess I'd better not do the mailbag up here anymore. Apologies, big flappy birds. Maybe being in a cloud isn't that great for doing a podcast after all. Hang on. Where's my chair and the floor gone grey? And everything started feeling a bit sort of damp and wet and rainy and... Uh-oh. Bye!
You have been listening to
Comedy Club for Kids presents.
Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! It's the end.